He's ready to run you over. You need to move.
Liam Foxwell, welcome.
Oh, you did it all the time.
Okay, speech time. I've been mentioning this to everyone.
This guy acts this role so well because not him. The main guy. The main guy. He looks exactly like the person who will do this job or recruitment.
Yeah, 100%.
So what do you think of the casting in general of Black Mirror? Yeah,
Really
Black
good.
Mirror.
I liked it. It wasn't all Americanized.
Yeah. Except this season, the last season, it was very Americanized. Which
The fourth one.
Yeah.
I
think you pointed that out to me. I didn't notice it too much before I called you, and then you said, "Oh yeah, it's very Americanized. You didn't really enjoy it too much."
Yeah, wasn't it after a certain season that they started going all American?
Yeah, it was just after season 3.
After season,
because Americans started to get into it, so then they more or less, and Americans don't like deep things.
Yeah.
They like black and white. Do you know what I mean? Very stupid.
Easy,
people.
just
easily digested.
Which is how they're spelling. I noticed that's why they spell really funny because they're very like to the point.
As it is.
So it's like we'll go out of our way to create a language to say I don't know dustbin or something, whereas they'll just call it trash because you've got the trash in it, and they'll call tomato because it's spelled tomato, whereas we're like no, there's an accent in it, there's a silent this in it. Silent why? Whereas they'll just be like, why is it silent? You gotta say it now.
Right, so Black Mirror season 1 and 2. So guys, the first question I have is, if you are offered 100k per month to never use Black Mirror technology in any form, like so any form of screen, so TVs, phone, whatever, would you or could you take this offer?
it would be a struggle, but I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I'll try.
Which other technology are you thinking?
More basic, not as...
You could use, let's say...
So, like, can I still watch TV anyway?
No, because it's black screen.
No, so like phone.
Phone you can't use. Anything that's a black mirror, you can't use.
So wait, so I can't use it, but...
You could probably hire someone to use it, yeah. For you.
Calm, taking the grant.
Yeah, of course.
You do that.
100%. Yeah, it would be hard. It would be mad hard.
It'd be hard, but it'd be beneficial as well.
Yeah,
not only just financially, but you get addicted to all these things that take you away from what's important in reality. So it'd probably be good for my brain.
Yeah.
Alright, so if you couldn't hire someone to do it for you, so basically you have the grand, you can do whatever you want with the grand. Like, let's say you could go to music concerts, you can do that, whatever. Like you said, other technology, you might be able to, I don't know, play a record player, like a vinyl player or whatever, but you wouldn't be able to use your laptop to kind of go and search for music or anything like that, or you can't get anyone to do that for you. You'd have to go to the shop. Live like, not...
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
You wouldn't mind it.
Like it'd be like soul building, like it's that kind
more
of
real.
thing. Yeah. So like, you have to take yourself out of the situation to remember who you are, which is why it's like I wouldn't want to do it, but at the same time I think of it in a positive way. Like, oh, like this is an opportunity for me to like learn French or go traveling or get to know myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then eventually 30 days creates a habit now. So then you'll just start it.
Used to it.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd enjoy things more as well.
Yeah.
Like the example you said about music, you wouldn't have to search for it, you'd have to go out and get it. You'd feel even more sweet when you get that record on, you've gone through all that, yes. So you enjoy it more, like it's not as accessible, so when you do get it, it's more...
And I feel like you can enjoy company more. Like, if you... Let's say I had my own place and you guys were to come round and I don't have a TV or something, and I'm like, guys, leave your phones at the door. Guaranteed, we'll all be having genuine, authentic conversation.
Yeah.
So things like Snapchat took away conversation because it's kind of like, I'll know if you go to Spain because you're Snapchatting it. I'll know if you're doing this because you Snapchat it. What happened to conversations where it's like, what have you been up to? Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, oh, you just got back from Paris. Yeah, I saw on your Snap. That's that.
But at the same time, don't you feel like it's kind of... Because I met up with a friend yesterday, and it felt like... Not that I have been with him or whatever, but it felt as though I was involved in kind of what he was doing. Like, as in I had a glimpse of what he's doing. Like, so then to make conversation, I used to bring up, oh, I saw that on your Snap that you went da-da-da-da-da. So then it kind of built conversation at the same time, so it kept the connection. But sometimes when you say, how are you, it kind of doesn't go in that direction, if you get what I mean. Yeah, because you kind of assume you know how that person's doing based on their Snap. And sometimes a person might not feel to share it, but then, they might not feel to share a certain thing, but then you'd be like, but I saw that they might just not remember that they've done certain thing, but they're like, but I swear you did this, that's really good, so and so and so. I wish I could do that. Like, let's say if someone saw me doing meditation, they'll be like, how do you do that? Blah blah blah. I've been seeing that you've been doing
You
this.
just have it as
so and so.
pros.
Yeah.
I do feel like it has its pros. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like it just makes you, the whole, taking yourself off black screens, I feel like it will make you a lot more counterproductive, essentially.
Counterproductive?
No, is it counterproductive?
Proactive.
Yeah. Let's say that. So it will make you more proactive, basically, because there's been times, I'm sure we all remember being in college, like, we had to put our Blackberries down, no one was watching TV. If we were on our laptops, it's because we were doing research.
Yeah.
And in that headspace, we can all tell that, we're all doing something quite very productive. So if you just do that in a long space of time, you can learn Mandarin, you can learn French, you can go to yoga, go for a walk, gym,
more,
you'll do more.
Real
you'll build
life
yourself.
things, not just
build your character, not just like feed off how other people are living, which is what I feel black screens are doing now. Wherever you look, you're watching other people. Like, you don't really know yourself or get to build on yourself
so much.
Yeah. So I feel like I'll definitely do it. It's definitely an advantage to myself.
Yeah.
It would be very
I'll come back wedge boy.
I think it would be very hard for me.
Very, very hard.
Because I get lots of my information from the internet. Like, that means I wouldn't be able to use the internet.
Use Metro. Read the Metro.
Nah, I'm not reading the Metro. Read books, yeah, of course. But, just in the sense of, let's say, what books to buy. Certain times I find what books to buy. Or what's in my thing. Looking at reviews, looking here, looking there, looking at the, let's say, the author, what they've been through before. I'll be like, okay, that's interesting. This is their whole thing.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, but again, blah. That's like, that just takes away from the experience we had when we were younger, where it was like more trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, I read this book. What have you heard about it? Nah, don't bother with it. Do you know what I mean? Because at least then you've got that authentic kind of review, because you know someone. You just had to go and try it.
Yeah, and it's
rather than
kind of
go on the internet.
It brings up that whole contacting people and actually talking to people, because I don't know, you want to read a book but then you're like, I can't read a review for it, let me go and talk to so and so who I know reads books, maybe they read it, and then that's where you're doing your research on it. Or even if you're trying to buy clothes or whatever and you're using an online shop or whatever, like going to someone and being like, do you have this, okay, and then going out to go and buy it, like, it builds up that whole, like, actually speaking to people and stuff like that. So I guess that's a positive, but it would take longer. Do you get what I mean? Like, the convenience of having a laptop there, a phone, and all these things.
Yeah.
It's convenient.
Very convenient.
But that's the way time is going now. Like, everyone just wants things now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just going out and having trial and error, do you know what I mean? Which will be, I feel like...
Yeah, and that's literally what it is. Like, on your phones and on your laptops, you're just having everything now. You've got all the reviews there. You don't have to do much. You've got YouTube videos saying what you need to buy and what you don't need to buy. You don't need to do much.
You don't explore anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like I explore a lot on Black Mirror, though, to be honest, guys.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the individual, but on a wide scope of things, a lot of people, that is their job done. Like, bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah.
Rather than
second-hand experience.
To be honest, I haven't gone shopping in a while, but that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Even shopping, you'll see what people are putting on Instagram, and then you'll end up buying the same thing you saw 10 of your followers wearing. It's kind of like, what happened to just going out and actually
seeing what you like
it and being like, this is nice for myself.
I like it.
Back in the day, we used to find random shots before COS and all these shots became a thing. We found all those shots because we were literally like walking around Westfield, this, that, and now it's like, all right, cool, I want a jumper, straight onto ASOS. I need a suit, straight onto this website. It's kind of like, what happens to just walking around the shopping centre, gliding around, trying on,
Yeah, it's all long.
The Black Mirror just taken away a lot of life experience, is basically what I'm saying.
But would you call consumer culture or consumer routine life culture? Or life experience?
It's an experience, because it makes you, it's a feeling. It makes you feel good, going into the shop, getting inspiration, feeling the garments, or just looking, conversating with meeting people while you're shopping, like having quick conversation with people over the till. It's an experience, it's nice. And then you walk out with your shopping bags, feeling like,
good.
Yeah.
it's true. It's an experience.
It is. It's nice, and it's something to do with your friends. Again, as Gladys mentioned, it just gets you talking again. It's something to do. Now everyone's just in their black screen, so it's kind of like
living through the screen.
Yeah.
Because even us four here, I'm sure you lot know me since school. We've all gone shopping. If you think about it, Gladys, what you doing on Saturday? I need to get a jumper.
Definitely.
Rav, let's go Harrods. Saeed, take my debit card. No, it was really serious.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we don't have that experience now.
It's true.
Next day delivery, innit?
Yeah, you can literally do everything from your bed. So accessible. You
I don't mind that, you know. Because it just...
you have to.
I think it's the whole
that's the
balance
thing.
of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just having that balance to just... I feel like that's why sometimes a lot of people do like detox from these things because you have to be able to know yourself without it and with it, and then create that balance where you're not on it too much, that you're heavily relying on it, but at the same time you're using it for like useful things.
Because it is convenient.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
That's definitely how I feel about black screens, really, because it's as if when social media or whatever becomes the replacement for real life interaction, like what you're talking about, that's when it's a problem. But it should always be there to kind of keep the connection there, because there's certain people I wouldn't have been able to connect with without Facebook, all these things, all these Instagram or whatever. But it's when that I'm living through that's when it's the problem. It's the same thing. Like if you prefer to, if you like, even if we were to take older technology, like a phone call is just supposed to keep you connected because you're not there. But if it becomes a point where you prefer to phone them rather than meet up in person and then actually like interact, then that's when it's...
But that's the thing. Online, you could be anybody you want to be.
Yeah, there's so many pros and
that's the thing. It's not like human physical contact where you have your eye contact, you're actually having conversations and you can read body language and stuff. Online, you could be I could easily put on my Twitter bio that I'm from Washington DC. I am a hazel-eyed Brazilian male. Like, do you know what I mean? But you know,
there's that, but then it's also good because you have people who don't, for whatever reasons, they have difficulty interacting in person. Like we're saying, if you are autistic or something, sometimes the screen does help then for people who are shy. But there's so many pros and cons.
Because
I think just using it in moderation.
Because then you're just adding on to what you said, you just more or less create a second persona, which I forgot what it's called. Alter ego. It's like an alter ego of some sort. Because back in the day, people had Habbo Hotel. There was like these websites where you can create avatars of your ideal self.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is kind of what they're talking about in 15 Million Merits.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was thinking it's pointless to buy and spend on my thing that's not really there. Like a virtual character. Yeah. So you feel like that's what we do with, like, let's say Instagram. We make our avatar our curation, our creative image.
People are so different. I've met some people in person who, when you see their Instagram or whatever, you've just been to a completely different person. To how you've perceived yourself to be online to how you are in person.
I'd say my Instagram is a complete backflip on myself. Like, I'm sure half my Instagram followers wouldn't imagine me sitting here having a conversation. Like, some people think I'm just shopping or just, you know, like, that's it. It's kind of like I can have an intellectual conversation. Most people don't even know I've got a law degree. Like, like Instagram just
you let them know what you want.
Exactly.
You paint the picture you want.
Like, if you want to think that I live in Harrods, please, by all means. But I have got holes in my socks. Do you know what I mean?
That's reality.
Reality. Like,
it's so true, and so many of us do it, and it's just that's real life.
It's an online persona.
Alright, so let's move on to the review of the first 2 seasons then. Which 3 episodes out of these first 2 seasons do you think are the most likely to come into full fruition sometime in the future? So, the first episode is the Prime Minister one. I can't remember what it's called.
Which already happened.
Which already happened. Oh, it was a play on that. And the second episode was the 15 Million Merits, the virtual reality prison thing. Third one, which we're watching now, is the entire history of you with the ingrained thing put into your head, and then you can live in your memories. I think that one's kind of already here with Snapchat. When I see people put things on Snapchat that they have from time ago,
from your memories.
it's
I
already,
didn't even think of that.
it seems like it's already there. But Second season, Be Right Back, the one with the dead boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then she brings him back to life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. Second episode of season, White Bear. Then third episode is...
What's the one where they do the clone? Is that the third episode? You know, when they put the person in an egg.
That's the fourth. That's the fourth one, the white Christmas one, the cookie one. That one, I think. The cookie one. Yeah, that one. I think. I think that one's gonna come because I feel like they're gonna make something where basically. I think it's actually already here. You know, like with Alexa.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
and when you think of cookies online, they're already in your head.
They're already in your head. Yeah. Not physically, but like,
it's already there because if you think about it, it's kind of like they know what you go on.
Yeah.
There's voice recognition, fingerprint scanning, face recognition. Yeah. You could be someone takes your iPhone and really wants to reciprocate you.
Yeah.
What knows you better than your phone?
Yeah.
True.
The way you speak, the way if Siri ended up being a third party, Siri could. You see it there? But yeah, you get my point. I'm not saying it anymore.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the third episode was the Waldo movement. That one's kind of already happened with Trump. He's like a character.
Yeah.
So yeah. So out of those ones, which ones do you think? I think White Christmas could come. I think the entire history of views could come.
Yeah.
Be Right Back. I'm not too sure. 15 Million Merits. I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah. 15 minutes.
I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
What was that again?
The one that you said that the one with Daniel.
The one that me and Saeed love and you.
You guys are a bit iffy about.
But it's very real. Like it's.
I mean, that is already here. It's just that was a more dramatized.
Yeah.
You feel like we're trapped within our virtual reality then? Like we're prisoners to it.
Who are an extreme,
extreme.
And then they make shows out of it, like Big Brother and stuff like that, trapping them into this reality that's not really real and all these things.
But then they have to make the reality real because it's like a contract.
Yeah.
You sign on to be this person, so now your Twitter, your Instagram is you being this person. It's like, it's weird.
Alright. So which technological development are you most afraid or apprehensive about coming into full fruition? Like which one do you think, I really don't want that to come about? Or which one are you afraid that it has?
Do you know the White Bear one where everyone's just onlookers and they don't do anything? I feel like that's becoming our society now. Like there's so much. You see people like fall down the street and everyone just walks past and thinks someone else is going to call for help or that's not my business. I've got somewhere to be. So they just... It is becoming like that when we're only focusing on that's not my problem.
And they
like,
just got their phones out.
And everyone's straight away on Snapchat on this filming it, recording it, but not actually helping. The amount of videos you see as well, which I find sick and strange, of like kids being beaten by their parents and stuff. I'm like, who's filming this? And why are you not preventing this? I've seen more than one of like little kids being thrown about, and it's like, why is this being recorded and not reported or prevented? It's just... So
but
I think
people's mentality behind that is probably like, let me record this, put it on the internet and get people to act, because probably they don't know how to act in that instance.
That one I can see in terms of like, like police brutality. Like just to kind of say that this is what is happening, so I need to like make sure that
because it can only take a back seat.
That in that instance, because exactly.
I can't lie, this memory one is a bit mad still.
The memory one is mad.
But it's something that we do as humans, like, for ourselves. We backtrack on things that we've done all the time. So imagine having visuals of it as well and actually reliving it all. Like,
it'd turn you crazy.
This episode, do you remember? We forgot one episode. This episode kind of led into... is it Crocodile? Crocodile, the one with the thing, the monitor. And then it's a thing where you can go back into the memories.
Four.
You can go back into the memories, and that woman just ended up going on a killing spree.
Oh yeah, See, so I don't think it's.
You didn't see that, and the baby. She killed the baby, but it was the hamster that captured everything.
Season 4. Can't remember the episode. That was Crocodile. You said, That one I can't remember it too clearly, but we'll of course next time.
Going to? Was it the pet?
No, she thought that. Oh no, she thought that it was going to be the kid that would see it. So she killed the kid, but the hamster, they got it from the hamster. Yeah, that's no. When she did that, I was thinking witch.
Crazy.
When she walked up towards the crib.
Oh
no, it was when she smacked that woman's head.
The journalist sort of woman.
Alright, that's true. Okay, so which? Now I'm flipping the question. So, which technological development would you actually like to come into fruition sometime in the future?
None of them.
I would like this one, you know. The reason why I would like this one, you know what I'm going to say, yeah? You know, wait. Listen to me out. The entire history of you, yeah? Of course, like, there's the danger of living in your memories and that, but it could stop so many arguments about certain things. Because it's down. You're like, oh, you said that? Alright, cool.
That's true.
Yeah, I would actually love that.
You wouldn't even have to say anything. You'll just look at the person, talk and blink. You know?
And it could save so many people from going to prison.
Yes.
But I feel like all of the technology on the show has pros.
It could,
But it's just if it falls into the wrong hands. The worst case scenario of using that technology.
Yeah, it has potential for good and evil.
Apart from bringing someone back from the dead, I don't know.
Would you do that one?
I wouldn't do that.
I don't see no pros in that. Obviously, the person being there, but
it's like you're
never learned to let go. Like,
you're not getting nothing new from that.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be me.
And it's not going to be. It's not the same person.
Yeah.
Just their body.
That's actually that's actually interesting because there's actually a thought experiment.
Anyway,
there's a thought experiment by Jullian Baggini. I think it's called "Beam Me Up." So he basically talks about how, let's say they make a technological advancement where you could travel to Mars or a different planet or whatever, but they have to take a copy of each one of your cells and basically destroy the you now and then replicate those cells. And then transport the information to that place. So he's asking which you would be the real you. Like, I said which you would be the real you. Is that the real you? The one that gets remade from all the information that's been taken?
No.
You don't think it's the real you?
No, I feel like that's it's been conditioned and molded by society and norms and culture and other people telling you things. I feel like it's not a true... It's made up. It's what your environment has made you.
So you think the body is like your environment manifested, or your environment?
Yeah,
pretty much. So even if it could basically the body that it takes and puts there, even if it could take all the information from your brain and your mental states and all sorts, and your consciousness continues over there, wherever it is, would you consider that you?
No. I feel like,
that was me then.
But
it's not me now. Like, it's a different...
I feel like when you're you can premeditate and like do things you want to do. If you want to like react to a conversation, only you will know how to respond and why you respond in that way. Whereas the copy of you will do the ideal things you would do.
Yeah, basically.
Because there's a lot of
the
thought in everything you do.
Basically.
Okay. It's like... Just
pure action.
Yeah, it's like at face value, basically. Because each of us, I'm sure with every thought and everything we say, there's about 10,000 things going through your head before you respond. A robot can't think like that.
So do you feel like that's what they get across with Be Right Back? Because you know how he was interacting with certain things. And he was just like
face value. It's not
all the actions, but not,
There's no root there. It's just like, this is Rob. But it's not like, who is Rob really? Do you know what I mean?
Alright, so... Considering that, do you consider yourself the same person that you were when you were a child?
No.
So you don't. So when you think back to that time where you were like in not secondary school. Let me not say it further than that. In reception, let's say your first day in reception. Do you see yourself as that person?
No.
A bit, but not really. I feel like I've grown, like I've
through experience.
So
it's like
the reason why I ask is because none of the cells that they were talking about in Waking Life as well.
Exist.
None of the cells that were in your body at that time still exist now.
You're a new person every 7 years.
New person every 7 years. So the only thing that it continues or that can be carried from then is your psychological continuity. So the fact that I'm thinking I or whatever, that's the only thing that can be said to be exactly the same, or not probably not even exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking the reason why I ask that is because I'm trying to think: do you place your personhood in your body, or do you place it into your psychology, or
Your psychology.
Or is it a blend of both? Or if it's a blend of both, then
I would say your psychology, because you are your learned behaviour.
Yes,
everything you've picked up from your childhood, from your adulthood. You are your experiences. You've learned to love, to hate different emotions. You learn good, like right from wrong. Everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like building a house. Like each stage of your life is a brick that you just keep adding before you become, you know, a physical house.
It changes. The shape changes. You're always different. You're always changing. But I think your mind is the only thing that stays. It grows, but it's the only thing that stays. Like you were saying, it's the only thing that's continuous.
Yeah, because childlike state, I'd say, obviously, it's like you're obviously naive to the world, but through life experiences, it's like you've got your foundation there, but then through life, you kind of like, okay, that was the wrong way of thinking, or probably I shouldn't have done that or said that. Like, it's just life. So it's not so much you become a new person, it's just that you know more.
You have physical changes. You go through puberty, which is like a massive change hormonally and for your thinking and everything. So
that's why I personally feel like adulthood is a sham. It's a state of mind, because there's a lot of people who I would bump into from childhood, and it's kind of like they haven't moved. For example, from secondary school, a lot of my friends haven't moved from how I left them in year 11. It's like you're the same person. But I know that the reason why I'm different is because I've gone to uni, I've had all these jobs, this and the other. So through experiences, I've become a different person into what you'd say is an adult. But that's just because I've gone through a different path, whereas they still live the same way they did in year 11. But we're not different people. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty much all it is.
You don't think you're a different person? You said?
I don't think I'm a different person. I just feel that through life, I've just had experiences which have altered the way I think.
Okay, so like, let's say if I take another thought experiment, there's something called the ship of Theseus, where it's pretty much basically like there's this ship who sets a sail from, let's say, point A, and they get to point Z eventually, but on point B, C, D, etc., one part of the ship gets replaced by something else, and then just continuous until when it reaches point Z, it's not the same ship. It doesn't have any of its original parts. So similarly, that's how we could see ourselves. Really, like then it's the same shit that's been going from point A to point Z, but we picked up, like you said, we picked up this, we picked up that, and added it on, and got rid of this and got rid of that. So would you call that ship the same ship
through life?
Like would you call that ship that I'm describing from point A to point Z the same ship?
Yes, no. It's the same, but it's different.
It's just that I've painted a couple things, I've got rid of some parts, I've changed from manual to electric, you know, it's just modifying as you go on. Like,
it's completely different, but the fundamentals, I think, are the same. I don't know.
Yeah, the fundamental of the ship will be the same, but like, for example, if that ship sells to Italy, I'll just be like, you know what, Italy has a lovely thing, let me add this to my boat, and then you go to France, let me add that to my boat or take that off. Like, through experiences and through your journey, you just pick things up and you get rid of some things. You innovate.
And I think the fact that it's the same ship from the beginning, like if it was a ship that you just switched at point, I don't know, D, and you got a new ship, that would be different. Do you know what I mean? But that from A it's been the same ship and you've just like altered it a bit, and now you're at Z, it's still the same, if you get what I mean.
I feel like it's a different ship, but it's still a ship. It's not, it hasn't changed into a submarine.
The fact that
it's still the same
function. It's still a ship, but it's a different ship to when it left.
So you think it has the same function?
But it's evolved. It's changed along the way, but it's still a ship. Still doing the same job. It's still floating. It's still.
So what's our job? What you say?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Because basically, I'm just making a comparison between the ship and us. So if the ship, if its function is to float from point A to point Z, what's our function in that case? Since we found similarities between the ship, ourselves and the ship, what would be our function?
I don't know.
I know it's a deep question, but yes.
You got a function to live in life, basically.
Yeah, basically, what makes us what we were back then, right now?
Because you have your basic functions, like literally just breathing and just...
Okay.
And then through life, you find out what you like, what you don't like, and then you kind of carry on with that. Like, for example, with friendships or whatever, you will find that people where it's like, you know what? Okay, cool. And then it'll turn around and you'll be like, you know what, I don't really like these kind of people or this kind of energy, this kind of person. So then when you meet someone like that, you can stay away from that kind of energy, and automatically you've kind of taken another route, and then you'll meet more like-minded people, and then, you know, it's just, it's weird. It's just like, look, I stay away from that because I've had experience with that. It's just weird. So like, you just, in life, you just know how to
navigate.
Navigate.
Okay, so I keep on going down this route. I will get back to Black Mirror, but I have another question. So do you feel as though you could blame anyone for getting a divorce at point Z if they propose at point A? If you get what I mean.
No, so much can happen.
So much can happen.
You change the shit.
But then, but the thing is, so marriage is supposed to be like better for worse. So should anyone feel obligated to stay with that person at point Z?
No. And
that's a personal thing.
But then, okay, so do you guys believe in marriage then?
No.
Yeah,
I think no,
I do.
I do and I don't. And hear me out on this part here. I believe that marriage is comfortability and settling. I only say that because if you think about it, when we was in uni and secondary school, you're going clubbing, you're going out, you're meeting new people, always meeting new energy where it's like you can literally float about. In our situations now, we hardly see each other as friends. So it's kind of like you already got this circle in your head, if that makes sense. Like, you're not going clubbing, you're not going out, you're not meeting new people, so there's only a certain amount of people who you know.
Okay,
and within that circle, you've got your partner or whoever you're dealing with. And then you end up, then you kind of like know that, I kind of like chilling with this person, so let me get married. That's what I see marriage as. It's kind of like you don't have the opportunity to meet a lot more people, but you kind of like tell yourself that this person I'm comfortable with.
based on your current situation.
But if you're still living the same way you lived in uni, you know, going out, going clubbing, you won't be getting married. Do you know what I mean? But because we don't have as much time to meet new people or energy to meet new people, it's kind of like, you know what, you're cool. Like, we can do this. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, you know how marriage
settling.
You know how marriage is supposed to be eternal, yeah?
Yeah.
So is there any point in getting married then, if that's the case, if we shouldn't have any obligation to stay with the person?
I think you have an obligation to stay, but so much can happen that can change that. It depends on your strength as a person, if you want to stay, and if your happiness outweighs the bad that's happening in the marriage. Because there's so much that can happen, like adultery and stuff, that you can work through and your marriage can still work. But say someone commits a crime and they've become this person that you don't recognise anymore and they're completely different and they're being violent towards you, is it worth staying in now a domestically violent relationship because you're married? Or are you going to be better off leaving for your own safety and stuff? So you have to weigh up and see.
I feel like marriage should just be like, you should still be able to be yourself, and the person you marry should be able to accept you for who you are rather than who they want you to be. So it's kind of like, I feel like there's this perception in marriage where it's like, okay, cool, we're married, you're going to have to do everything which I say and I'm going to have to do everything you say. I feel like it's meant to be a unison. I accept you for you, you accept me for me.
And you have
we're cool. And
you just grow together.
Rather than, because I'm married, I can't do this. When I get married, I'm still going to do what I want to do. I don't know about my wife, but I'm doing what I want to do. And if she's got a problem with it, you marry.
But then that's how she met you, so she should know.
Exactly. And that's the argument a lot of boys have, because girls are out here trying to change guys. But anyway, that's just something for another day.
Let's get back onto Black Mirror now. So, if you were to pick 3 to 4 episodes as your favourites from the first 2 seasons, and 3 that are your least favourite, which ones would you choose? For me, 15 million. You guys taking too long. For me,
hey, give us a second to think. It's about 2 seconds.
He didn't even look at us like.
Is that question for us or for you?
No, I'm joking.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm thinking. Go. Go.
Alright, so 15 million merits. White Christmas. It's either, I think it's the entire history of you, or Be Right Back. But I think entire history of you from the first 2 seasons.
Did you say 4 episodes?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
My one's 15 million credits.
Merits, yeah.
Oh, really like that?
Yeah.
That's number 1, you know.
No, not number
Not
one.
in order,
No, not in order.
but
just top.
from what
If I was to
can
put it in
remember.
order, White Christmas first. But yeah.
White Bear's in season 2.
Yeah.
White Bear. And... what's it, season 2 again?
Waldo, that's third episode. First episode is Be Right Back. Second episode is White Bear, and the fourth is White Christmas.
This one. What's it called?
The entire history of you.
The entire history of you. So
Yeah.
50 million merits. The entire history of you and White Bear.
White Bear. Okay. Sam.
I would say White Christmas.
Yeah.
I would say entire history of you. What's the other ones? Just season 1 and 2.
Yeah. Just season 1 and 2.
I don't remember, you know. Like it's all mashed in my head.
Exciting ones.
So even when
Yeah,
when I mention the names, you can't.
So there was
No,
the
I
Prime
remember
Minister
them.
one.
No, that was
50 million credits.
no.
You've already said this one.
Yeah,
The Dead Guy.
White Bear. You like White
I
Bear.
like White Bear.
So that's your
Yeah.
second.
The Dead Guy.
And you like White Christmas as well.
Yeah,
So that's your
Yeah.
third or fourth. If you have a fourth, then
I know there's another one, but I just don't know if it's third or fourth.
Be Right Back. The one clone.
No, I could skip that.
Yeah, same.
Entire history you picked the second one.
No,
I think I think that's all it is in the second season. In the first 2 seasons.
No, there was another one because there was another one that still had that guy, who was working in White Christmas, but his family. He got blocked by his family, or was it a double episode?
No, that was one
White
episode.
Christmas.
White Christmas was a long episode.
Yeah.
It was a long one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because
That was
he
like
was going through the guy's story.
2 stories. Yeah.
Okay, so it had 2 stories.
They had 2 stories.
Yeah.
So White
Okay, yeah, that's my 3 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's
Raveen.
the same as Sam. So
Same.
White Christmas,
White Bear.
yeah, and entire history of you.
Okay. Cool.
And then I would skip Waldo moment,
Yeah.
skip Be Right Back, and
I'd skip the Prime Minister one.
I'd skip that one.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a bit
it
long,
was-
so-
So like
was
once
just
you've
a bit-
watched it,
Once you watch it, you don't
that's
need to watch it
You
again.
don't need to, and it was just sick to watch.
And it was a pilot. Pilots are never actually.
I
What
like
would you do
a couple
as the
pilots.
Prime Minister? Wouldn't do it. Stepping down.
No, step it down.
wait, what was
I'm
it?
stepping down,
They-
yeah.
Wait,
That or you have to have
They
sex
have-
with a pig and come.
they have
So
to
not
step
just-
down, or
Well, either that.
Wasn't it
If he
something to do
didn't
with
do
the
it,
daughter?
No, the
if he
daughter
didn't
would've
do it,
killed.
the princess would die.
that
and then
princess
his-
is getting dead.
She's
or-
dead.
Bloody.
Sorry, no, sorry.
As a
She's
prime minister,
dead.
you are supposed to make
One person.
Nah, no.
One person.
the national
She's a
treasure.
princess. Shouldn't know
And they
that. Why was
released
her
her
security?
like before he even
Nah.
did it, or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So
Don't know if I could. Don't think I could.
No,
I
couldn't
don't
do
think
it.
I could.
For the rest of my life, I go
Again,
through that
this is my
psychological
life.
and physical
No.
illness and sickness, and then
I came here to live
wife
for
was mad
myself.
at him.
exactly, bye, princess.
But do you know what? I think people would understand. Like, people may hate you for a bit, but they would. If you're a human,
Yeah, you literally just
I don't
have to turn
expect
around
you
like,
to have
what would
sex
you
with a pig.
do? Like,
Like,
A whole
sorry.
pig.
Nah.
disgust.
Nah, that's just, yeah, that's
But I feel like that episode, and this just kind of branches off, but that episode kind of shows, that people have a perception of how certain people in certain positions should act, forgetting
Yeah.
that they
They're
are human.
human.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when you see people like, for example, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, when she threw that shoe at Nicki Minaj, it's kind of like everyone's looking like, how could she do that? Like, you're a
It's
celebrity,
instinct,
you're
it's
supposed to act.
reaction.
But once again, like the reason why a lot of people like Cardi B
Because
she's human and she's unapologetically one of
Herself,
us.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, how would you act in that situation? Well, obviously, I wouldn't dash a shoe, but it's a real reaction.
Yeah. You can
So-
understand that reaction, yeah.
Yes,
People
I
do
feel
forget that. That's true.
Yeah, if that episode was to happen now, it will be like, okay, cool, it's the Prime Minister. But if the Prime Minister unapologetically, because there's a way to go about it, if he unapologetically was like, would you do it? then cool. But if it's like a statement where it's like, it's kind of like you're hesitating, it's like, I'm sorry, don't be sorry. Would you do it? No, that's it. And I feel like people appreciate that a lot more than you trying to step on eggshells. Like, just...
I think my initial impression is to apologise, like, tentatively, like what you're explaining that. But because it's like, you don't want to seem too insensitive by saying, you're not going to do it.
But I feel like you should. If it's like you, we live in a generation which will appreciate that. Millennials kind of appreciate realness, which is why we kind of we see through the facade. You can go to Vodafone now, and if the salesman tried to say get this, you'll just be like, just give me the phone. All this talking. I know what I want. Just give me the phone. We appreciate realness. Like if the sales assistant was like, look, this contract isn't all that. Try this. That's how we like.
Much more.
Not all that. We see through that. Which is why I feel like, if you unapologetically said that he's not doing it, we'll be like, you know what, we can't argue with that.
Nah, I agree. Alright, so I want you to consider the episodes of season 2, Be Right Back and White Christmas. Do you think it will ever be possible to clone consciousness? If so, does the clone qualify as a person? If not, what quality is missing for personhood?
I think it's 50-50.
50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, because I feel like you could clone consciousness. Like I mentioned earlier, like if, some scientist wanted to take data from my phone and put it into a human shell, they could possibly make another me. The only thing is, into the second argument, would they class as human? Yeah, because them themselves believe they're a human. So who are we to take away that right? Do you know what I mean? Because, again, they may not feel, but they feel. And as long as you've got a feeling, it makes you human.
So do you think, that White Christmas, the way that he was treating her, giving her 3 weeks in silence, doing nothing, and 6 months. In that episode where he cloned the cookie? They cloned the cookie.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just fast-forwarded the time and then made her do nothing. Yeah. Basically broke her, and then so that she would be, like, willing to labour.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's barbaric?
Yeah. Because
the guy...
she's feeling. She's you. Like, how would you feel? Do you know what I mean? The only thing that takes the human entity, the human part away from that person is the fact that they don't have a heartbeat like we do, or they haven't got, they wasn't born and went through the experiences.
They don't have a body,
But as long as they can feel the way we feel, a feeling nonetheless, I feel like that's what humanizes them. So that's why you saw that woman, like, she was in the corner crying and, she looked horrible because she was feeling. And that,
I don't
it's
think
barbaric.
that's possible.
You don't think it's possible to
clone consciousness?
Oh, to clone consciousness.
I do.
When I think of it like that, I think, clones can have that. I just don't think
like
it's
the cookie
possible.
thing. You wouldn't think it's possible.
No, I think you can make you can make it do the actions, but I don't think you can make it have feelings and have a moral compass.
Do you feel like you need a body for that to have feelings?
No, you need to have your own mind. I don't know.
Yeah, but that mind will be your mind. That's the thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's just data. It's just code.
It's not actual.
It can't
so
be.
It sounds stupid and it sounds like a weird thing to say. But how do you know you're not a data copy, for example?
Well, I might be.
You wouldn't. Exactly.
That's what you said.
But I think what Rav means is like, it's only coded to say that, okay, you must cry now.
Because you've given it the data.
Yeah,
but
coded or not, it's still a feeling. That just goes back to the point I just said. You sitting here right now with me, you could be a data copy of Gladys who's actually sitting over all the way in Monts Park. Like, what takes you away from being as human as Gladys over there? And you're sitting right here, right now. Do you know what I mean? You are the clone, because the clone is thinking like you, but the actual you's over there. So now if I start treating you like that person in that episode, you will feel a type of way. Yeah. Because to you, you believe you're human. So,
but then I believe that creating a clone, as much as it would be you, it wouldn't be
original.
You get what I mean? So you would feel that's different.
It's like you see computers, they have all this data, but they cannot think for themselves. You instruct it, you tell it what to do. You can make a clone, and it can have all this directory of how you act, how everything. But this clone is not the one controlling that. Someone else is controlling it, so they're not therefore having their own thought, I'm going to feel this way, this is triggering this feeling. Someone else is controlling this.
But that's what I mean. Their thinking process would be photocopy of yours.
So I'm the one controlling the feelings, though. Yeah. Me as the original, not the copy. The copy is not doing the thinking for itself.
Yeah.
I'm controlling the thinking, so therefore if I'm the human, the copy is not.
No, yeah, but the copy will be doing its own thing.
The copy will be doing its own thing.
Exactly, but
I've told it to, because you've got all this data that you've taken and extracted from me. It hasn't come there by itself, and it's not developing new thoughts by itself.
But still having thoughts nonetheless. It's thinking like you.
Like you would at that moment in time,
exactly. Without the body new. Fair enough if it's like, like we said, life is an experience. You will not be saying the same thing now than you will next week. But if you was to photocopy yourself up until this very moment now, your clone will be thinking everything before this very moment. But then the you next week will be a different you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. No, like...
I get what you're saying, but I just don't think it's consciousness, because consciousness to me is being aware, being awake, being conscious there, and if it's a copy, I don't. But
they believe that, so that's what I mean. Wouldn't it be barbaric if you take that away from them?
It's a clone fake consciousness.
So then that means that
not real consciousness.
So then that means you attach consciousness to a body, then.
No, it's not the body, but it's come from somewhere. It's learned from somewhere, and this clone to me has just been produced. It's not grown and developed and come to these conclusions himself. It hasn't learned.
Yeah, but you've given
this is morally right or wrong.
It's kind of like you've gone through the experience and you've just given it to them. So now they themselves believe that they've also gone through that experience. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. I can get where you're coming from.
So you've given them your experience on a plate is what you've done.
Yeah. It makes sense. When you're saying to me, I'm like, I want to agree.
But there's always something that's missing.
The only thing that's
human. That's the thing. I just don't
and this is my argument. I don't feel there's anything different other than what will happen the day after the clone is made. Because that clone will think like you up until that exact second. But 5 minutes after that second, something could have happened to you that could change. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It can't grow new.
But what if it could, like? What if it does? Like, let's say if we take the thought experiment that I said before about the transporting to like a different planet.
Yeah.
If it's transported it, but then it regenerates the body of it, but like a different body. Not a different body, the same body, but it's just using like, let's say,
this
materials.
Is like reincarnation.
It's kind of, in a way, like, let's say it just takes the materials, let's say on Mars, and then uses the information it gets from the data and then makes a new you. So then you have
body, new,
So then would you, I forgot my train of thought now.
I get what you mean. I think I know what you mean, and I'm agreeing more and more.
Yeah, so...
you can take that thought, that mind, that consciousness with you.
Yeah. So then, you take that consciousness with you, and then from that moment that you are on Mars, and then that experience is different than you would have been when you're on Earth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, if the copier didn't destroy the original you and just made a copy and then put it on Mars, I think it's both you. It's you that would have had the experience. I think it's a clone. I think it's like a shadow clone.
Yeah, but on that point, so if you was to move to Mars, that's what you're saying. So they take your memory from that exact point before they get rid of you and move it to Mars.
Yeah.
So the robot will just be doing what you would do in that situation, but just in Mars.
So then that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking you. Do you consider it to you? You still consider it
because it will be doing what you're doing,
but just in a different location.
Yeah.
But then how would it know what you would do on Mars?
Exactly, because you'll probably think about it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, because you think about things, but it
it's
don't
like
mean
if
that
you're
you
hot,
necessarily
you'll be like, alright,
do it.
cool, let me take my t-shirt off. Whereas some people, if they're hot, they won't take off their t-shirt, they'll put a fan.
It's a completely new environment.
Yeah, you've never been to that environment.
That's what I mean. You've set yourself a foundation to know how you would react. Like I was like,
I get what you mean. It's making sense. Yeah,
if you're hot, you might use a fan. Whereas I'd be like, as Sam, I don't want to use a fan. I want to take off my t-shirt. So if I was to go to Mars and Mars was blazing hot, it's kind of like, again, your clone will know that Saeed in a hot environment would use a fan. Whereas Sam in hot environments will take off his t-shirt. It's kind of like we've set ourselves foundations to know.
But what if in Mars you don't have fans and t-shirts and you're just like a liquidated formation of something
so what would Raveen do in Mars?
I don't know. I'm not Raveen anymore. I have this brain, but that's not me. This is just
No, but
it's like, you know when they say you
that's
die,
what
your
I'm
body
saying.
dies, but your soul continues.
It's
and
kind
that's
of
just...
like sending if you was to go on holiday, your clone was to go on holiday. It's kind of like Raveen likes to walk around and go to markets and, jump through hoops.
But what if I go to somewhere and it's just water? I've gone on holiday
It's
to
the environment is not what you expected.
So I
and
can't
you've
go
never
for
been in
long
that
walks.
environment
Yeah.
before. It's like...
But
obviously, you can think.
But what if you haven't? You don't know what Mars is like.
Oh, in that sense, yeah. But
Mars
that's
can
what
be
I
completely
mean.
different. You don't have 2 legs. You don't walk. In Mars, they just float.
But wouldn't the information that they carry from the original show that, oh yeah, you just need to adapt? Do you use your
You adapt, but I think that's a... I don't know.
Okay, let's. This is obviously a thought experiment. Of course, if
I just feel like your subconscious will have a certain code that knows how you would react in certain situations.
Yeah, I agree
so
with
if your
that.
clone was in a horror house and a ghost jumped out, it will scream the way you will scream. It will be scared of the same things.
I think the day we can clone consciousness, we all need to be very afraid because robots will have a consciousness. Robots will take over the world,
and that's what Black Mirror is about.
That's what I'm saying. So, do you want this to come true? I don't ever want us to be able to clone consciousness,
and that's why the clone won't exactly beat us, and that's why it can go wrong.
Pedophiles, you can clone criminals.
Yeah,
oh my
because
gosh,
it might take the dark part of your consciousness. We're in control. Like, there's times where people can be talking, I'll be like, damn, your breath stinks. But my clone might just be like, shit, your breath stinks. And it's like, he doesn't have control, but it's something I would say, but I haven't acted on. Whereas my clone could easily just do that.
But wouldn't your clone be inclined to have those social etiquette
as
to kind of know as well?
You would hope so.
You'd hope so. Yeah, obviously in the wrong hands, they'll make it as in like, oh, just go, tend toward the evil stuff, do the evil stuff.
Not even
like
that. It could just again, before every thought you have about 10,000 thoughts.
You don't know how you're going to react to a certain situation.
Whereas they'll do what you'll do on a foundation, as far as I'm concerned, especially if it was the first prototype, probably distance in the future, after, that technology's been out for quite a while, maybe then they can do like a deeper rooted, Saeed or deeper rooted Raveen. But for the first prototype or 2, it will be a photocopy version of yourself at face value.
Okay.
So what would Raveen do in this situation until exactly?
But then it's kind of like what sometimes when you go through something, I don't know, you stub your toe on the edge of the table or whatever, and you think you want to shout, and that's what you normally do, but at that moment you're just like, you know what? Let me just...
And that's what consciousness is.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
inhibitions.
I think that's what consciousness is. It's the fact that we don't know how we're going to react or respond to a certain situation, and you can't kind of code it in a way that it's going to be like, you're going to do this. And that's what I was talking about. And that's what I was talking about. I think was it on the Waking Life one when I was talking about how we're different from animals in the sense that they're just conditioned. So then I think you could clone the animal where they could just basically react to their environment.
Yeah.
But I think humans don't necessarily just react to their environment. They respond in a different way.
And then emotion comes into play.
Yeah, but I feel like, again, that's just part of the threads of what makes people that could, again, if technology is made more advanced, can be reciprocated. Because your clone will just learn how to react, how you would react based on the foundation. So like you said, the stub toe thing, you might scream and I might hold in my thing, but that's just because of our root. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like, anytime I get hurt, I'm not a screamer, whereas you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you'll know if you're in a quiet library and you can't scream, or if you are at home and you can scream, or who's around you, or what.
Exactly, I feel like your brain will know that. Because again, it will do what would Raveen do.
But then you just said that you have 10,000 ways.
Yeah, that's why I said in future technology, that can be reciprocated.
So you feel like they could copy that 10,000 ways of reacting? And
because you just have to keep digging. Because a clone will literally, again, have the foundation. Yeah. But then all you have to do is just keep digging, more or less. But it's not impossible.
In thousands of years, it could be. Yeah,
it's not impossible.
I think it's impossible.
You think?
I think
it's impossible
to clone consciousness.
Consciousness, because I think
because it's just your
making us that's
it's shouting.
No, because I think consciousness is more than reaction. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's being conscious.
Awareness is different.
It's not like every time a teacher shouts at you, you would start crying. Sometimes you would have different reactions, and it would be based on, I don't even know, you can't be bothered to cry today. I don't know. It's not like, do you get what I mean? You'd have a different reaction. You might feel hot in a certain setting, but you don't want to take off your jumper because it's long to take it off. Or do you get what I mean? It's just like you have all these different reactions, but it's just like it's not.
So if you had a clone,
able
you'd
to
kill
be-
them off then?
I ain't having no clone.
What do you mean kill them off? Why do you mention that?
Because it's kind of like, you know, from what I'm gathering, it just sounds like, you know, collectively, you know, if we had a clones that just walked in, you lot wouldn't want to sit down with them and just be like, you know what?
I would,
but they're not replacement for me, and they're not human. They're not. They can't make conscious decisions.
Human.
They can
like,
have
if you're
these
sitting there with your
robotic
clone
feelings.
and you're like, Raveen, I'm Raveen, you are my clone, and your Raveen is reacting like how you would react. Like, I'm not a clone. Like, I mean, I might be a clone, but you're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah, but that's learned reaction. But what if it's a brand new situation and it's a dilemma? It's a social dilemma, and you've got to choose between a really tough. You know, with that saying, you're between a rock and a hard place, and it's really tough, and you have to use your consciousness to think about your feelings, your loved ones, what you're doing is going to affect everyone. You cannot have a clone of data that can make that tough decision for you.
Yeah, I think that's
if it's something like, say, something. This is bizarre. The first thing I thought of, a child on life support or something, and you've got to choose: do you want to keep your child alive or not? And then you've got, are you going to donate its body? You're going to all these thoughts as a cloned thing that hasn't been in this situation before. You cannot have this conscious decisions and stuff. I think you can't clone consciousness. I think you can do everything else, the whole reactions, how they react in heat, everything, instincts, but I don't think you can somebody's
and I feel
mind.
Like that's
quite
a lot of the time why people say, oh, like when they make a decision of something, they don't know until they're in that situation.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's true.
You don't know,
But I feel like, again, if that's who
because you have an idea of what you would do if your man cheated on you. You know what you would do, but you can't say until you're in that situation because you would. In that situation, you'd have.
No,
we
you
don't
know
always
what?
think
You
we
can
would
argue against that, because imagine if your clone got into a relationship here and the clone's man cheated on your clone, right? Your clone will sit there like, okay, cool, hold on. Do you know what I mean? Because they'll know that Gladys doesn't like to be violated, or Gladys would react like this. Like, what is going on right now? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a foundation there.
No, there will be a foundation.
It will know what makes you happy. It will know, like, in that instance, like, you know, we don't always have sunny weather, for example, but the day we do have sunny weather.
Consciousness. I think consciousness is a higher thinking. It's thinking below just black and white. This is what I can do, this is what I can't do.
But there's still a foundation to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a foundation. Yeah.
Like, it's not like if you was to just murder something, you got angry and you just murdered someone.
Yeah, no.
There was a foundation there.
No,
you know what I mean?
There's a foundation, but I think what Raveen is saying is that the clone would be restricted to that foundation, but we as consciousness or organic consciousness, we're not restricted to what our foundation would be at that time.
Because in that moment, you could just be like, you know what? Cool. The real us would do that.
Yeah.
So I do get that, but I'm just saying,
I get
it's not impossible to do.
It's not impossible to get it more and more accurate, I would say.
Yeah.
But I feel like they wouldn't get the whole thing. They wouldn't be able to emulate it, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I think that's the point. But I think you'd be scared at how similar they could get it. But I don't think they could get it down to a T.
That's exactly like this.
You get what I mean? Like Be Right Back. I think they could get it close, and like, let's say, you know how in Be Right Back where she told him to kill himself, and she was like, nah, don't. He wouldn't do that.
Be afraid.
You would be afraid,
and then told, he doesn't have the feelings on his own.
But then he grew with it, and then he learned how to do it. So then that's what I'm talking about. It's like you can get more and more similar, but it won't be the organic consciousness. Yeah, basically, that's that. But there is one more question. We are kind of running on over time, but let me ask this quickly. If we were ever to use Black Mirror technology for interrogative purposes, crime prediction, AI free labor, would it be morally questionable or morally defensible or justifiable? I know that's a lot of words. So basically, when I say interrogative purposes, you know, in White Christmas where they basically use his cookie to find out if he was guilty or not. So they basically use it to interrogate his own cookie and find out what happened. In crime prediction, I don't think there's an example in Black Mirror, but you could imagine that they take the cookie to kind of see if you would, like what you're saying, you know what you're saying about, you could see that Gladys would act like this, that, and the third in a certain situation. So you could imagine them taking people's consciousness and seeing if they would commit a crime and then putting them in jail before crimes.
I thought it was based off your memories.
No,
not of your feelings.
No, but you're saying. Remember what you're saying about how this is how Gladys would react in a certain situation. So there's a foundation. So then, let's say, for example, the police take that information and then use it to think, okay, so in a certain situation, she's going to act like this.
They manipulate it.
And then
We do that now in the courts anyway, don't they? They do a psychiatric test on you to see if you've got, you know, the kind of mental psychopath.
But before a crime.
But before a crime. Before a crime. Like, then this is like, okay.
To prevent it, basically.
Oh, to prevent a crime.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah, so they basically, like, let's say, for example.
Do they do that?
No, they don't. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No. You could.
Nah, like, if you could
be morally right.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So, and also, like, with the free labor of the AI copy in that woman, basically.
Yes.
Is it morally questionable? Is it like slavery? Like what the guy said? Is it slavery?
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Because Raveen, Raveen, you said that they're not consciousness, they're not all, there is a difference, basically.
There is, but I think the question of morality is in the person controlling that. So the man, he's happily eating his toast while he's letting her sit in social isolation for 6 months. He has something wrong with his consciousness there. She's fine, she's just a figure.
Yeah.
She's not real. But the problem is in him, because he has no problem, even though she's not real, he has no problem doing that to someone that has... Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it depends on the person. Like, I wouldn't treat a clone any differently, if that's what you mean.
It depends on circumstances.
Yeah, like, would you see them as different? Like, as in, would you see them as deserving rights, let's say? Do they have rights?
Yeah, I feel like if they really genuinely feel, then that makes them human. Because, like, I'm sure if they got rejected from a job, they will feel a type of way. Do you know what I mean?
They feel on their own.
Yeah, if they can feel on their own, then if you was to insult them and they're starting to feel a type of way.
If they got rejected from a job.
Like, you see a clone just sitting there like...
I don't...
Okay, thank you. So like, no, they'll feel how you would feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, to them,
but then is it real? Is it just
that's the whole thought of a clone and all of that makes me feel like, obviously I would accept them, but something somewhere would be like,
but then,
I don't know what could happen.
To be honest, you wouldn't know. You'll be the only person that knows they're a clone, because we could all be sitting here right now and Saeed could be a clone. And then if I'm like, Saeed, your glasses are too big for your face, but he's secretly the clone, he could still feel a type of way.
Yeah.
It's only because I'll know that he's a clone that I'll be like, shut up, man, your glasses are too big for your head. Like, but you shouldn't feel a type of way because you're a clone.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I get what you mean.
Like, he could still feel a type of way because, you know, he feels. So I wouldn't treat it any differently.
You wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like how we don't know if other people have minds necessarily. We just judge it off behaviour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother kind of
Everyone's mind is different.
Yeah, everyone's mind is different. That's a whole other kind of
story.
Yeah,
another time.
We went through so much in this session.
I forgot we were talking about Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Like, there's still so much that could be discussed.
Yeah, so much. There's still so much that could be discussed. Yeah. But since we're on 1 hour, 3 minutes, I think we should end there. Any concluding thoughts that we have?
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
In it, for real.
Honestly.
Drink water, mind your business.
And stay woke.
All right.
Amen.